All right, hey everyone, welcome to MasterClass Episode 8. Today I am joined by Chris Friedel of Crossbeam, and we are going to be tackling the topic of unleashing partner ecosystem potential. And let me bring Chris into the room here. Sorry, I don't want to leave you off that.
No,
Welcome,
you
sir.
can handle it. It's fine.
Welcome to the show. Appreciate you coming on with us.
Yeah, of course.
So as always, I choose who I think is the most knowledgeable person and also enjoyable to talk with. I don't want somebody that's really boring, obviously. So I choose people that are knowledgeable to join me on this topic. And the selected one that we have with partner ecosystems, Chris, is definitely fitting that profile for the partner ecosystem enhancement. So thank you for joining us today, Chris.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Beautiful background. I assume that is your bazillion-dollar penthouse.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, we're wildly successful over here at Crossbeam, so this is what my home office looks like. It's definitely not a virtual background at all.
Yeah, no, the little fuzziness around doesn't give it away. All right. Well, I saw you last in person at Channel Partners in Vegas a few months ago, and we did a live discussion there. But in case anybody out there wasn't one of the privileged few that saw that stream that we had, we're talking about different things anyway this time. So don't worry, there's not going to be any repeat content there in case you did catch that last one. And also, I should have seen you at Supernode last month, but unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it. So I was already booked at a different event. And I was very sad to miss that. Why would I not want to be in San Diego hanging out with you guys? Yeah, that was sad.
It was pretty nice.
Well, I won't make myself more jealous and think about that and dwell. But so normally I'd give you a nice introduction and maybe throw in some facts that may or may not be true. I kind of like to joke around a little bit on these things, but I'll go ahead and let you introduce yourself and Crossbeam and maybe a little about that Supernode event that I just mentioned, if you'd like.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll take over here. Let's move on to. I have an intro slide I'll use to kind of guide this. So we're just quick agenda before I hop into about me and what we're doing today. I'll set the table a little bit on what is Crossbeam very briefly for those that don't know. Some people have heard of us. Maybe you got a random invite from a partner and you're like, what is this? I don't know what this is. Delete. And then what we're calling ecosystem-led growth. What is that? What is Sales Edge? And we'll finally talk about our new integration with Impartner and a little bit of the roadmap that we have with Impartner going forwards too. So, but first, most importantly, about me.
Yes.
I'm in Portland, Oregon, on the West Coast. It's actually a bajillion degrees here. It's not typical for Portland where it rains, 280 days a year. So it's a little different. I got 3 dogs. Two of them are in my office right now. I don't know where the other one is. And naturally, for a Northwest person, ski all the time. That's like my guilty pleasure whenever there's snow on the mountain. That's why I get along with Impartner so well, being Utah residents over there. Maybe we can organize more on sites and go over to Snowbird.
Yes, please.
Yeah, exactly. So my current role, I manage partnerships at Crossbeam. We deal very heavily with technology partners like Impartner, where we have integrations at the core of our partnership based on, typically we'll take Crossbeam data and push that data out into other products. We'll talk about our integration a little bit more in depth later. That's where we spend a lot of our time. We're now building out this new channel for solutions partners, which is really exciting, and different consulting and implementation partners, which is an exciting new channel for us. I used to manage partnerships at Navex, a compliance SaaS company, did strategic partners and consulting partners. It's a very different type of partnerships than what I'm doing at Crossbeam, so I definitely have experience across the two. And I started in channel partnerships at HPE. So I've kind of seen the whole gambit there of different types of partners and just keep working my way into smaller companies. Started 100,000, moved down to 2,000, then down to 100. Maybe the next one will be 2 people. We'll see. Uh,
That's usually how it goes. You get your knowledge base at the big company, and then the smaller, you have to know your stuff. You can't just go in and learn, because it seems the smaller company, you kind of have to be lean and mean and know all that stuff already.
Yeah, I mean, I always say you have to wear a lot of hats at a smaller company. Your
Right.
job scope is flexibility and being agile, rather than whatever your job description says. It's times 2 or 3, right? Just figure whatever needs to be done, you do it, right?
Yeah.
Which I actually kind of like. You never quite know what you're going to get into, so it's exciting. So very briefly, I'll just kind of talk about what is Crossbeam, what it looks like, so you kind of know what we're talking about as we go through here. Trevor, you better be an expert on this by now.
No, I'm learning with everybody else.
We call a lot of people will think Crossbeam, they think account mapping. That's certainly one of the pillars of what we do, and that's what I'm going to show you right here. We call ourselves a partnership ecosystem platform, PEP. If you want another acronym out there, you certainly don't need more acronyms at this point. Need a little like handbook in partnerships for your acronyms, so you know what you're talking about.
We're just trying to rival the
but
medical industry with all of our acronyms.
yeah, for sure. But the basic premise here is for somebody that's starting in partnerships, one of the first thing you're doing when you're working with a new partner, be it a reseller, tech partner, whatever it is, trying to figure out what those mutual accounts are that you can start sinking your teeth into and pitching your joint value prop, right? 90% of that time in the last couple of years, you were using Excel documents or Excel sheets. Super, super difficult. It will take a ton of time. What I always say is if something takes too much time, it likely just won't happen, right? So what Crossbeam does is you connect your data into Crossbeam via CRM. If you don't have a CRM, for really small companies, you can use a CSV file. That's totally fine. Salesforce, HubSpot, Dynamics, whatever it might be. You'll sync your CRM data into Crossbeam, and we'll immediately show you all those overlapping accounts and your mutual customers, your overlapping prospects, whatever's in your CRM, we'll surface it immediately, so you can see all of it right in front of you. Let me show you what this. There you go. So I brought in a screenshot. This is like what I always say, the bread and butter of Crossbeam. This is where this is clicked into a partner view. This is that Crossbeam matrix where you see all your mutual opportunities. This is where Trevor is every single day, no doubt, looking at your mutual customers, your mutual opportunities. This is what Crossbeam looks like. So it's really meant to bring efficiency and ease to something that was a roadblock in the past. It's actually funny. I learned about Crossbeam because I was one of those people that got a random invite from someone at my last company. And I was like, oh, what is this? Went to their website, saw the open link, and here we are. So it's a natural recruiting tool for us to just fire out invites. So I'm going to move into, before that, I forgot that we had this slide. This is one of my favorite slides. The nature of an account mapping tool, part of the benefit of having that tool is the size of network, right? That's one of our differentiators for Crossbeam. We have 14,000 companies on Crossbeam. I actually think that's close to 15,000 now. We have a lot of these larger companies, right? 90% of the Forbes Cloud 100. You can see some of our biggest customers here. If you go into an account mapping tool, you start inviting partners, they've never heard of it. That's sometimes a roadblock. Us having 14,000 companies on Crossbeam, we have this network effect. Our CEO, Bob, affectionately has that. If you look in the background of the slide, we have that node. This is a graphic that he shows every single opportunity he has for showing how much Crossbeam's network has grown with each of our customers inviting their partners. It's a live graphic when we see it internally. So, but anyways, this is one of those powerful parts of Crossbeam, is the size of network.
There it is. I wanted to see
Yeah.
it was, so I had to change our layout. Sorry.
No,
I
it's
think
fine.
we're blocking some of that.
No problem. Move
So
on.
why is it,
Go ahead.
I mean, other than awesome expertise of having 15,000 companies, does it make the account mapping better, or is there something behind that, or just that you have so many people participating so it helps people be more comfortable to share that info?
Sure. Well, I think it makes. Let's use an example. If you're new on Crossbeam, you have 10 partners. You start inviting those partners, and they're not on Crossbeam. You have this extra hurdle of now having to get them enrolled, which is super easy. I mean, it's not a huge
Oh, okay.
hurdle, but
Mhm.
if you're coming in there and inviting your partners, they're already there and they have their data synced. That makes your flow that much easier. And getting up and running and getting value out of Crossbeam that much easier. Um, so we already have that huge network available on Crossbeam, right? If your partners are using a different one or not at all, that's an added friction point. I think is basically the point that I wanted to make there. So thanks for
Yeah, that
calling
makes
that
sense.
out. So we've been talking about powered ecosystem. Ecosystem's like the hot word right now. We We're talking about, or if anybody here was at Supernode, you'll know what ELG is, another acronym. I try and avoid using the ELG acronym here. I try and say ecosystem-led growth as much as possible. But it's an important term that I'm going to try and set the table here before we start moving on here. You've heard the term, the old playbooks are failing, outbound is dying. Like, these are terms that we've heard before. It's very common in the industry right now. It's no news to any of us being in partnerships that sales efficiency is down. Um, how do we navigate that? What is the answer to these old ways stalling and not being as useful as they used to be? We like to say
The
that that's
ELG?
ecosystem-led growth. Potentially, I'll let you figure that out on your own. But
Okay.
we'd like to say that the way to fix that problem is leveraging your own ecosystem, all of your partners, right? So uh, some of the major things that I like to point out is that second party data. That's a network unique to you, right? So if we have 70 partners, all those partners, all of our connections, all those overlapping accounts, those massive little nuggets of gold, that's our unique network that's been created from our partner ecosystem. Uh, you know, we've sent out these stats before, like partner led deals or partner influence deals close faster and bigger, right? Like, those are all a partner manager goes to sleep at night like trying to think about exactly how we get more partner attached deals. um, Having a company led by ecosystem is the way that you're supposed to, or that you're going to tap into that additional revenue and increase efficiency going forwards, right? So um, as I move into this, part of the way that we think about ecosystem led growth is that's an umbrella. So what's underneath that? What are the actionable plays that you can drive business, right? So you can think of it as ecosystem led marketing. That's one way to think of it. Crossbeam itself is using partnership data to drive growth and hit all your partnership goals, right? So ecosystem led sales. What is that? How do you uh, leverage that? I'm going to go into the next couple slides. But one more thing I want to mention before I do that is this notion of for anyone that's in the revenue org, if you're a CRO, sales manager, it has become increasingly hard to close deals. Like partnerships, marketing. I know Trevor gets pulled into deals all the time.
Mhm.
It's increasingly a collaborative effort from sales, CS, marketing, product to close these deals. It didn't used to be that hard to close one deal, right? So leveraging your partners, getting intros, all that sort of stuff, that's stuff that we need to start. really thinking strategically about.
And I know you have like the overall numbers that analysts have that yes, those with partner influence deals close better and more often and all that. Just anecdotally, that's 100% true at Impartner. Anytime that we have our own partner ecosystem involved, our close rate is so much higher, right? It's
Right.
a great approach. And the other thing I wanted to mention is we've been doing a lot of these partnership meetings, meetups across the U.S. and actually a couple of my coworkers doing a European tour right now. And the ones that I've been to, I've just been impressed how open the
Mhm.
entire partnerships community is and willing to help and share and collaborate. 10 years ago, it was kind of the notion that, oh, partners are competitive with each other. They don't want to share anything. So you didn't
Mhm.
want any of that collaboration. Now we've taken a whole
Right.
100-degree turn to everybody has this community feeling and wanting to share and help out. And it's just very fun to see. And I'm always impressed how open people are. I'll just be talking in a circle and people just boldly come up, hey, I just want to introduce myself. And it's just, yeah, I love how it's changed in that way. And we really are just a partnerships community.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely, if you were in partnerships even 5, 6, 7 years ago, there were less events that were focused towards us. I remember like going to conferences when I was at HPE or even Navex. It was like it was focused at something else,
Mm.
and partnerships just happened. You would meet with another partnership person there. Organizations like shout out partnership leaders. Uh, there, with Catalyst coming up at the end of the summer, all
Right.
these meetups that Samila and Asher are putting together here. I know Impartners on the European roadshow right now.
Yeah.
These kind of events give partnership people a home and a place to share ideas. I think it's good for the entire partnerships industry to exchange information. That's how we all grow, make it, and speaking about ELG, like that's how you get people to connect the dots on how ecosystem led revenue motions can bring that value across the whole organization. It's a little bit of an industry learning technique as well, I think.
Yeah. Agreed.
So I've had this question posted up here. This is one that I asked myself before we get in here. Anybody that's used account mapping has asked themselves this exact question. Uh, you go into Crossbeam, you go into any account mapping platform, you look at your results, you see all these awesome overlaps. What now? What do you do? Right? Do you shift to your email or your Slack or whatever, find out who that person is? Well, it shows up in Crossbeam and you see exactly who you should reach out to. It's certainly easier than it was, but that extra hurdle of having to figure out how to action that opportunity, what we were talking about earlier, if it takes too many steps, it just doesn't happen. I think that's probably the case here. So I'll answer it for myself. It used to be nothing sometimes. And I'll lead into here. We acquired a company called Partnered last Supernode, not in San Diego, in Philadelphia. We've taken that product, Partnered, and turned it into Sales Edge. A good way to think about this is this slide. Crossbeam is to LinkedIn, Sales Edge, Sales Navigator, right? So it is the answer to what now after you look at your overlaps. So these next couple slides here, think about Sales Edge as a play for ecosystem-led growth or sales, right? So inside of Crossbeam, on the left-hand navigation column there's a button now that says co-sell, right? That's what Sales Edge is. It's automated co-selling. So these are some of the ways that you can leverage your ecosystem for co-selling. Ask for intros. Maybe it's an influence play where you're trying to figure out. We do this with Impartner all the time. We've been really collaborative. We actually use Sales Edge together. where our reps will reach out to Impartners and ask them who's the contact that you're working in this opportunity. Try and be collaborative. It used to be done through email. You can't track anything. Maybe it's in Slack. Maybe your partner doesn't have the same communication platform as you, which adds another layer of complexity. That never happens. So Sales Edge provides a place, a facilitated place for all that communication to happen, right? So Sales Edge can, when you send out an opportunity, it sends that alert out to your sales team, whether it's Salesforce in your CRM. But this part is, I think, where it changed for me personally in our own usage of Sales Edge, in my own way of leading ecosystem-led sales. When we had the Slack Connect integration. So I'll show you some visuals here in a second of what that exactly looks like. But if anybody that's been in a situation where you're trying to get account executive or sales teams to collaborate, to co-sell with their partners, there's some lift in the beginning. There's training that needs to be done. And some people don't get it, or maybe it's just another workflow. They're not understanding how this gets me closer to quota, whatever it is. One of the things that we've done with Sales Edge is try to facilitate these initial conversations. So this visual, let me go over this next slide here. This is a good visualization of how we've tried to facilitate these first conversations. So this is what you'll see in Sales Edge when you want to kick off a conversation, one account executive to another. Maybe I'm kicking it off for an account executive. That certainly happened too. We've added in these seed questions to get the conversation started, right? These are typical questions that you can ask initially to start off a co-selling conversation, right? So, maybe you want to do, who's your economic buyer? You can ask 3 of them, 4 of them, all the questions, whatever you want. Add some context, select the partner that you want, fire it off. The best part about this Slack Connect integration I mentioned, that conversation that was kicked off in Sales Edge goes immediately into Slack. This is how it shows up. You have a co-selling channel in Slack. You associate your Sales Edge account with that Slack account, and it fires off right into here, and it tags the appropriate people. The moment we made this live, we saw activity explode, right? So part of the reason why we do integrations is to take useful data that Crossbeam's providing and put it where people work, right? Where they're already doing their job, right? Our most popular integrations are CRM integrations, because people are living in their CRM. That's no surprise to anybody, right? Where's the other place you do all of your work? Slack, right? So the moment we have these co-selling conversations that tag all the appropriate individuals, as a partner manager, being able to facilitate those conversations, watch them all happen, that it was invaluable. The other part I'll mention here is the attribution aspect, which we all have issues tracking deals and proving influence. Did my partner source that deal? Not having to troll through my email account or my Slack account or wherever that might have come from, having it all in one place, in whether it be Sales Edge or in these Slack Connect channels, having a record changes things for sure. Go back one slide actually, see if I can see it here. I didn't add a slide for it. Inside of the Sales Edge conversation, you can tie that attribution back to Salesforce. So that's another thing. Our whole idea here was how to make these conversations easier, right? How do we combine workflows? How do we make co-selling with partners easier so that they happen? That's all what ecosystem-led sales is. How do we inform and fuel all of our outreach with ecosystem data being surfaced by Crossbeam?
That's really cool.
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty cool. What was that?
That I hadn't seen yet, so I was learning along with everybody else.
No. It's a new workflow that we're working through too. So, but now the really exciting part, which leads me into, so we talked about ecosystem-led sales. We talk about taking Crossbeam data and pushing that data into all of our adjacent places where work is being done. It was a absolute no-brainer for us to figure out how to take Crossbeam data and surface it in the PRM. And bar none, the number one integration that was asked for from our customers incessantly for years was Impartner. So I mean, with customer momentum and all of that behind us, we made that happen, and we're really excited to finally have released this into the wild. We've heard some great things from our customers, but the key details here of what we do together is we take that Crossbeam data and flow that into, we'll show a screenshot of what it looks like in a second here, but we push that data, all your overlaps, into the Impartner portal and give the ability to bulk register overlap deals. So one of the key things here that we hear from the users of this integration is it saves them time. Instead of identifying opportunities inside Crossbeam that they might want to register from there, it's all done where they're already registering deals. They don't have to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's all done in one place. That was something that we hear all the time, right? How do I save time? How do I be the most efficient with my job? Identify where I can upsell opportunities with our shared customers. These are things that people were already doing. Let's just make it easier, right? Anything you want to add to this slide before I show the visuals?
No, yeah, just from our side. Yeah, you heard it a lot and we heard it a lot from our side. We have a lot of shared customers. And so, yes, there was a big push of why aren't you guys working better together? So very happy that we have this done. We announced it at your user conference of Supernodes. So yeah, super excited to have this done.
Yeah, that was you guys had a pretty key spot there right in front of the doors at Supernode.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people, yeah, right where the speaker entrance was just Impartner right there. So
We like to be important. I get it.
yeah. So this is what it looks like. This is Trevor, I don't know if you've ever seen the inside of Impartner before, but this is what it looks like.
I was gonna say, you want me to explain this part? Yeah, this is the Impartner portal, Brighton. Anytime you see that, you know that's our demo environment. That's a fictitious company we've made. It's not Snowbird, sorry, it is another ski resort. But this is Brighton Technologies. This is not related to the ski resort. Anyway, so yeah, we made a new area there. It's basically like a widget that you snap into your system. This is our PX interface. It also works on the classic interface if you have that. But creates this what we call data grid, or this dashboard of all of the overlaps. As you can see the tab there, so you can have an account overlap, the prospect overlap, and then that last column you can just check. I want all those to be deal regs. So that's how you can do that mass deal registration without having to do it one by one. So it's pretty slick. And this is just V1. We're going to keep iterating and making it better as we go.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the key to talking about tech integrations is constantly be learning, constantly being flexible, listening to customers. And that's what we've done, right? So we've done one thing that we've done really well together is listening to our customers, talking to customers in the wild and understanding what they'd like to see in a partnership from us, have it be completely customer driven. I really like this slide from Impartner because it shows the whole life cycle here. My mind immediately went to like all the different places that Crossbeam can play in. I mean, you know, having Crossbeam at the beginning of the partner journey when you're unrolling a new partner, how about we connect on Crossbeam, have some way to combine that in the platform. As you can see with the little Crossbeam symbol, that's where we're currently matched up in the bulk deal registration under managed pipeline. Currently, we're talking about collaborating with the TCMA use case, having a marketing use case fueled by this is ecosystem-led marketing in action, fueling your automated partner marketing campaigns with Crossbeam data so you can be really efficient and targeted with who you're doing that outreach to. The opportunities are endless here. So we're really excited to keep changing and growing the integration and partnership over time. That would be the end. And I will be remiss if I don't say, if you're interested in talking about this integration with us, reach out to your Impartner rep. There's also a Crossbeam marketplace. Just go there, click on Impartner, and you can request integration access directly from there.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time making our listing look really good on your marketplace. So hopefully people like it.
It does look good. Yeah.
But yeah, you can always reach out to us on LinkedIn. But yeah, if you go to those areas, that's probably the quickest way to get connected and see a personalized demo and see exactly how it can work within your environment. Anyways, so we've reached the end of our speaking parts. While we do ad lib quite a bit, we put a lot of time into presenting valuable information. So hopefully it's been a useful session. But yeah, if anybody has any questions, throw those into the chat there. And Jane, yeah, she went to Supernova. I'm very jealous. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking about that. So, but yeah, if you guys do have any questions, throw them in there. We'll have a few minutes here. I'll have Chris, if you don't mind hanging out for just a moment. We'll see if any roll in.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I'll just continue to talk about how Supernode was a fantastic event.
I like the store. That was so cool. You had the swag store. That was, yeah.
I should have worn one of the shirts, and I could have done a wardrobe change in the middle here because I have like 3 shirts that I brought from the event.
We may be stealing that idea from PartnerCon. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
All right. So let's see. Yeah. What one question was, what do you have in store for this partnership in the future? So we talked about a little bit how we're going to be expanding into the TCMA, but really, like we said, we're right now connecting through the CRM integration. We already had a lot of those pieces in place. So it was just organizing that and putting together the use case for the mass deal registration. But we're going to continue building upon that. In fact, we're going to be making our own marketplace of out of the box widgets, essentially. So eventually it'll be just an out of the box widget. You can plug in Crossbeam, put in your credentials, and have it be a lot quicker to set up, a lot more flexible, cover a lot more use cases, like you were saying. But that's the future of where we're looking to take that. And here, let me put this question up here.
Yeah, I'll get to that in 1 second. One thing I want to add to what do we have in store for the partnership? The first thing that we want with, especially with integration partnerships, is ease of setup, right? We want it as close to a one-click activation as possible. So I think that's our immediate need, is to make it easier to get up and running with our current integration with the bulk registration, and then we'll dive into some of these other use cases like TCMA that I think will be really fascinating. I've talked to a couple mutual customers that are really intrigued by that. So that's probably the next thing. If a company wants to use Salesforce Chatter as the trigger for co-sell versus Slack, is that possible? Are you referring to Sales Edge, what I was showing in there?
I think so.
And I think yes. So the trigger is currently only set up for Slack. And I'll also mention that we don't do this for Teams currently. Crossbeam itself, what we call Crossbeam Core, the original product, also has a Slack integration. We get asked all the time for, does this work with Teams? Does this work with other engines here? We've prioritized Slack as that trigger and where that information goes. So no, currently, but I won't say never. It's all driven by demand and who's asking for these things. So if you currently use Crossbeam or you're a customer of ours, definitely let your rep know about your interest in that, and we can go from there. And I definitely want to talk about this hesitancy to participate in account mapping. as it's become more popular and widely adopted, just account mapping in general, not even just for Crossbeam, the nature of what you're doing, opening up your CRM, sharing this data, people have been hesitant over the years for the security standpoint. Before I talk about the solution to the security standpoint, I will say connecting your CRMs and having Crossbeam as the intermediary source there is certainly a lot safer than having Excel documents with all of your data floating around and you have no idea where it's landed, right? So that's the first step. The second step is we have a security portal. If you go to Crossbeam, how it works, click on security, you'll see all of our GDPR compliance, SOC 2 certifications. We have just about everything you can imagine. We have an amazing CISO that quite literally wrote the book on startup security. He's really buttoned us up there. We also have a link at the bottom to SafeBase, which is our security portal, where you can dive into all that documentation. And if your team is really, your IT team, whatever it is, pushing back on sharing that data, we've been pretty thorough. We've heard just about every objection you can think of. So I would start there, loop us in, reach out to Crossbeam, say you're running into that. We'll help you go up against that argument.
Yeah, I think that's a very logical question. People are rightly concerned about data and protecting it, but it sounds like you guys have your bases covered.
Well, it's like the first question that comes up often.
Yeah.
So you got to be prepared.
Yeah, it's a valid concern, but yeah, obviously that is your business, so it makes sense that you've done everything possible. We've had to do the same, especially as we have a lot of customers in the security, networking security business and cybersecurity. So we've had to get every certification and do all that and to have that paperwork to prove that we can guarantee the protection as much as possible.
Definitely. And I'll also mention that we've given the flexibility in Crossbeam to adjust your sharing settings. So if you have maybe it's a new partner, you don't want to open up all of your CRM data to that person. You can limit what you're showing. And a lot of people don't know that. You can show it all, you can show some of it, or show nothing, whatever you want. We have that flexibility as well. So
very cool. All right. Well, any other questions? Keep throwing them in the chat. We'll follow them on our LinkedIn page there. But we better close up as we're a bit over time. And anyway, I appreciate you joining again, Chris. And we'll talk to everybody later.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.